One step at a time. Welcome again, everybody. Uh, I was I was just listening to a guy. He had all the pieces that we were had. Waking up, waking up, waking up, and just that last one. Like he was still holding on to that. There's that evil cabal out there that's stopping everyone from living their lives, right? And I was looking into like soul clusters and those personality patterns, and that it sort of all made sense. Like, what would we get from having someone else know what we know? So then it's just a bunch of us scared as shit down here manifesting that the government and all that. Is that what goes down then? Do we go in and kill the holograms that are being projected through our consciousness that is us? I showed you that on Westworld. Right? I was like, zzz, you think you're gonna, with all that coming there with all that anger, and then, zzz, right? Because that's what we're watching down here, that projection. But what would, if there was a grand architect, designer, how would it go about accomplishing, if its goals were for its children to step up, and become the man? It would put in those roles. That's what we're finding out. Like we have been finding out with all of these things. Like we know, we get it, and then we find people who know. But then there's people who just, no matter what you show them and get it, they won't get it because they can't. That's not their part of the show. They're to push us, to keep pushing us to the point. It's like that pincer move. So you got to have the muggles push us until we're ready, and then that's what's going on. I saw someone said they're the elite. The elite are meeting up in Davos to plan the new world order, and then all the truthers go, like it's scanning everything right now, right? Instantaneously, the all-seeing eye is taking cues from where we're at up here, right there in that moment. I can feel it. Like they're waiting. It's us. Like that shadow is. Because I looked into the website, and it's like it's a little bit different this year. It's not so secret, and they're even taking input through the webinars and stuff. So like, yeah, perfect. Because I think everything's been set up on the stage, for that, CERN to pop out the hadron, the finished product. It's just too many. Clues that was all. It's a scripted role that's being revealed. The curtain's being pulled down from the Wizard of Oz. So what's missing? It's this message that we get it. And how are we going to beat them? We've been telling ourselves since the beginning what conquers all. I kept coming to me like, let's just go on a red, just heart everything. Just love it to death, right? You can love it to death. Everything's symbolic to this master gematria script. So just dig a little. If there's something that's bugging you, like there's a lead in Davos, just go in there and find out what it is till you can come to peace. The phrases are determined zodiac, so it's all written in the stars. June, it's June. Abba deity. Wasn't that a band, ABBA? Got a palindrome there, A and B. Seattle, Virgin, great job. So is this the new time for the real new world order? I love God, believe in magic, unprecedented radiation, the great masturbator. I say like night, or whatever you want to call it. It's hysterical, but Knights of the Round Table. That been never used before? Has this been accomplished before where this was remembered? And we did enter a new age, but Knights of the Round, there's 150 of those. So the 7s and 8s, what do they become? Add them together, and they take their roles. Knights of the Round Table is also Cain the First Murderer. That's the problem that's been going on here. That's the Observer, Xerox, perfect copy. as above, so below. Don Juan, and God is love. So that's Davos. I mean, that whole system is doing its thing. Like, was only a grand architect could design it. There's no other explanation. It's just taking us this long for this. That's what's being revealed to us, is that your life cycle was not just this, eat and get sick and go down at 70. Like, it's the first phase. Like, it's our cohort, and our horde for us to figure these things out. But yeah, I mean, someone sent me another video. This guy just lost the hook at the first thing out of his mouth, man. Someone's accusing him of being a racist. Well, we know that, but he has he's related to black people. Oh my God! And he's screaming about Muslims, and he just makes my head hurt, man. This is for some serious controls up there. Keep that out. It's like, because I looked at I looked at the Sixth talk last night, and I was just like, oh man, like my head hurt, man. Just because that's where I was going through this, and like, what is it? I told the cops, it's some sort of spiritual something, and but like, that's the school, like the 1st through the 14th, like that's the schooling part, and then now we can just have some fun, because we're just putting in the pieces now. And then I was like, I'm getting some heat, like, and I was like, oh, I better keep making some other ones, like some good ones as I come back into my my earth here, and so I was like, damn, someone's gonna get in there and climb up my Jacob's ladder, and get to 14 and like snap me up. But I was like, well, this is what it was for, and then I've had these experiences before, and it's always 2 weeks hard and then 1 week resolution, and then I went back through like the cycles, like every 9-year cycle, so 99 Seattle riots, and Antifa was doing their thing, but I had no idea, I still drinking the Kool-Aid, right? And then 2008 I got chemtrails and the hula hoax, and yeah, I lost some people there quick. People are attached to these identity roles. They think that's them. But I was crazy then, and then so 2017, I was like, what was that one? And that was that whole executor who's in the office of being in charge of your body, and that was like the big. But I still didn't get it. I still needed another couple more pieces there, and I got them recently with the the 9 months from when you were concepted. And then I knew there were others ones I read about over the years, like these 7 years, and you're just different ways of looking at it. And then as I was waking up this morning, it was just hammering like 4-year cycle all through my life, all the way back down. 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and like where was I at, in each of those layers, because it's all layered together, right? It's just intercalated. I love that word, intercalated skrill that is being played through the light. So yeah, so now 3 years on from that. The word for that is Hijira. I was like, yeah, because my dad used to, Springfield News Sun, word of the day, and he cut them out. He's a word sleuth like me, and it's a spiritual journey, a trek, and I just always found solace in that word, comfort, and it's 48. I'm 48 years old. But the other one was I am Q. We talked about Q, that all the Q is, testing the egg to see where it's at. So is that a role for people who go on these types of experiences? And then the spirit energy is creative activities, positive attitude. So we win this. All this is for us, the grown-up kids here, to really take that to heart, right? We always take it there to heart and search out where we're manufacturing these fears out there in the system. And to accept that it's we're responsible for that. Go humble, man. Just always say go humble. So people are about to have some humble pie when they get this message, and just how the flat Earth got us all, found each other. The mud flood, and I was like, oh yeah, it's because we're stuck in the mud and the quicksand, and how would you reveal that truth though? Like really, you couldn't. Like you see what the cities on top of cities, and I mean, so anything on the set, right? It will drive you crazy if you're trying to figure it out there, um, by design. But all these other things too, now with the dates and yeah, the next week the Mahobi calendar is the Earth's the world's ending. Yeah, that might be the date. We know where everything happens, where it can only happen. Um, but it's the solstice on next Sunday, Father's Day. There's a lot of a lot of things have lined up for this event. Well, where's it going to happen? But we know where anything happens, right? That's the total projector in all of us. So just get one other person. Like I had one person post the video, and I was just like, this part, that's a lot more than I don't need it, but that's what it takes. Just that flipping that switch. That's now out on the big projector. I saw another one. I was like, well, what is with the LGBT? Is that bugging people? And what's the real reason? And I was just poking around a little bit, but then I noticed nothing was really coming up, and but they said, well, something has a Q on the end of it, and then it just all like lit up. It's just testing us, a reminder that it's just love in any form or whatever. Most of that stuff is part of that because it messes with our gender roles, and that's just another role, and nothing to worry about as long as they're not breaking the golden rule, right? And there's love there. That's the message. And they took the color, right? The rainbow, all the colors of the white light. So something like that, just look at it close, right up. If you want, I mean, just learn to love it. It's not bothering you. Unless it's breaking the golden rule, then it is. Yeah. But if something about that bothers you, that's yours. You got to go in and get that and love it to death. Whatever they're doing. I was in Amsterdam one time. They have all that, those sex shops and all that stuff. Women, red light district, and I went in there just look around. What is up with these stores, and it's all your regular stuff, and then I go all the way up in there. It's like bestiality and that's crazy ass shit, man. Like midgets, pregnant women, I mean, you name it. It's been manifested in some form. And I was in my bar post hostel or whatever I was working at, saying that, and here come the little kids on a school trip. They went into that place right across from there. I was like, that is fucked up, man. Like, but that's because there's no sixes to time that right. All that timing's been thrown off. So the kids are getting sexualized early. But in another talk, I talked about how that would, over a few generations, that would be a clean break for the generation to come through to get that sixth status and then heal its family energetically back the other way, So a mechanism that we just haven't been aware of because we just didn't accept, or I had no other choice, man. I was like, that's from Game of Thrones, that the castle, and there's that hole. That's sort of like what that is. I mean, it is. That's the symbolism of that. Something. Oh, that's just a thing. But it's like not a blind faith. We talk about that. You don't take a blind leap of faith. But there's nowhere else for me to look on the set to try to figure anything else out. It just takes you right up to that singularity, that ring. So whatever you want to call inside of that, take your pick. There's no name. It's hallowed. It's just pure consciousness, and then that's what we all have in our projector. It's that powerful to make the entire thing, all of it. Tony Zodak, Hedra. So yeah, this. You can jump in anywhere. Got a little bit of that, Well, Tesla hoax. Yeah, sort of, maybe, kind of. Was it purposeful? Yeah. We know that there was Jetsons happened already. Who knows how many times? Infinity. You really want to teach that to anyone here? They couldn't handle it. We couldn't handle it. Looking back at all the chapters of my life, this took me all that searching, and to just be like, yeah, there's no other explanation, right? And you just get used to that. If you were doing that for yourself, how would you go about it? You know, it makes more sense from that angle. Because you'd have to be the real evolution was that, like, went the science route, that's wrong. Went the other way, that's wrong. But then you got to go all the way back around and see nothing comes from nothing. So why all this evolution? It's the evolution of your heart as you experience this realm, and then you hit these what do you call them? I'm gonna say milestones. Yeah, milestones, gold mines of development. That would make a lot more sense than what we've been manufacturing or manifesting. Spooky secret government. I mean, how much more secret can they get? They're not even secret. So yeah, that we can have some say-so now on the set. That's probably this next week. Is that just this idea? Just take this idea, just one other person, and that is so powerful. Just people manifesting things like the whole set. I just looked in the pro baseball, and they're just adjusting until like that. Nobody knows what to do. It's waiting on us. So yeah, going through all this, that Xavier Rudd song, "Bend." That one, like 3 years ago, I was bending. Like some things will come easy, but for some you'll have to bend. You got. Nothing. Of course, if it's worth it, it wouldn't be easy. So, just coming on down from that one. That's sort of the overall big picture of what's going on. I looked at that guy, like, he's got 1.3, million people watching him, just rant and rave about the show. How do I even know that's real? Like all these hearts and but no, not a problem, because if this idea wasn't what the right one, it wouldn't work. So proof is in the pudding for that. I was like, yeah, well, am I worried about YouTube or Google or Facebook taking this message down? Would it? Why? Could it? Is it? So the show is all for us. It's through us, by us. All these characters, that comes. It's just so smart, right? That it has to do things to us down here through the play, through the reflections. I went back and copyrighted a couple Ozzy songs. Like, think about it, man. He's a part of us. He's still singing for us. Like, I got to keep on going. They still haven't got it, but looking at that album cover, 83, whatever, Ozzy Oz, double Z. That's a lot of Z's in there trying to get your attention. I was like, I probably heard that first time I was, 13 or whatever. And of course, you just think this for you down here, and he's singing about this Aleister Crowley, some satanic. He's probably Barbara Bush's father, or sure, probably whatever. It's gonna happen some way. But yeah, it just touches you there, plucks your emotional strings in that moment, right? But you're 13, you're not gonna like wake up to the world. You're trying to play sports, get girls. You got other things to do, but just switch those around, and then it's just absolutely beautiful. The other song of his on that album always was loved was "Goodbye to Romance," and so I was playing that one through, with the new ears, and beautiful. But was it romance, like down here, like that romance? Because all these, the multiple layers. But I just heard it, the Romans, that dead language. That's part of where we get the answers. It's part of the clues on the set, right? So the dead language is now, not that we got to go around and start learning speaking Roman, but it's just this idea that all of the stuff that's happening is for that singular purpose, for the evolution, the real evolution of the man up to the six. So I say it again, 666, mark of the beast. It's the beast in your heart, that's all love. And then that is to put that mark in your forehead. Because the mind follows the heart, right? The heart feels it first, and then we see it. So we're looking in reverse when we watch the world, right? So we got that one pretty good. Oh, just a couple other, people like JFK, and he fought for us, and they killed him for it, Stumbling block. It's a stumbling block. All theater, filmed over a few days, and you got to go through those grieving, you're angry at first, or you're sad, or you're angry, however it goes. But yeah, it's a big, big play. I mean, but it's us, it's our play. My dad shook his hand. Miles Mathis, I saw people, that's where I got it from. His writings, that's a lot. They always give you a lot of truth, but then they got to get out of there, right? Because they're holograms. Guys always trying to track him down. I looked at, he just, nothing really adds up. Like, he's just a character for these messages. But he's got some good ones, all that Manson murder stuff, vague. OJ, vague. Someone's got to put on the show for the kids, but that's why the presidents still go to Martha's Vineyard, it's this island and there's no roads to it, and they go there and get their stage directions. Yeah, that's what Davos is. Whatever they have in there, somehow it, rung up from down on high. There's no other way it could be that well coordinated. All the characters and the roles, but then those started. That's in us too. We have those prototypes. Like they step in. Ozzy stepped in, so we could, wasn't. But that's so we would have that, exposure. That was like we're being bathed in the radio frequencies for our life as we come up and take that pen and become the author, the authorized author of our life, because we just weren't ready before. Breaking the laws all the place down here. So gotta just come to terms with that and go humbly and appreciate the grandeur. And hopefully you don't have to go through what I went through. But I've been through that before, right on time. So not to be unexpected. Just people diet stuff, all this categorization, just confusing. Forget about it. It's like, well, food is either dead or alive. That's the first bifurcation of anything you choose to eat. Yeah, living foods are, they're easier. They can help you eliminate toxins and stuff, but in the end, we talked that yesterday. It's like that quantity. That quantity is the absolute key. So whatever, if you have some food and you start thinking, I can't give that up, then don't. Just, eat less of it, but chew it up really good and, appreciate it. And if you're breaking that rule, just set your mind that you'll eventually get over that. That's why Bill Gates is making all the, plant-based meat. He's like your step-in uncle here. Like he's doing everything to get you, prod you, But it's just a role. I mean, it really is just, right? Holograms, we're going to have Melinda Gates grab you, and then Bill Gates come up, and he's going to stick you with a needle. Where does that go down? On the set, maybe? No, probably not either. Just scare you. Testing you. Like right up in there, it's finding the fear. The all-seeing eye. It's us. It's through us. So yeah, those food people, man, raw vegan, and you get sick. You can be vegan and be a lot sicker than a meat eater. If you're eating a bunch of, whatever, pasta and pasta, rice, potatoes. I love potatoes, but I just eat a little bit of them. Some other health things, like the mud bath, because a lot of skin is the biggest elimination organ. So when we went to naturopath school, they gave us, we had a little reminder of what used to how the German naturopaths would scout naked in nature, and your electrical system would just get charged up. We did like a weekend, and I was just like floating, driving out of there, but drive back to the city, and all the noise and pollution, and but funny, we were in little groups, and we had to rotate activities, and it was freaking cold, like the river. And so I lucked out because some people had to go do that one in the morning, but whew. But I was in the afternoon, so we bathed in the river, and then they said some special mud, it was in a package, it was expensive, but that's just people trying to create quality up here to make money. It's just earth. But yeah, just rub that all over your body, and it will just pulls it out. Like it's our earthly connection. I don't know. Some we were asking about the cycle. I just dropping dimes here and there, but just one person. Another example was a Canadian, Dr. Gaston Naessens, Naessans. But those nice little charts that'll show you this real cycle of all those things, and then the healthy is the three right down there. And so the body is monitoring all the cells to make sure there's nothing besides those three coming out, morphing up. It's like when the spirit leaves the body, that ground energy takes over to decay the body. But what can happen is that decay cycle can start in your body while you're still in it, right? That is a problem. So the body is going to alert itself to those situations. So it's just reacting to the local conditions, like pH, oxygen content, pressure, normal things. But if you want to start looking down that, but yeah, it'll digest all the way up to turn into a mold. The smallest particle you can't even see, you don't even know what it is. Microzyma, something. But it's always mind creating it right there. That life, the first physical form. So he had this special microscope. I'm sure it's a roll, could be probably, but looking real close. The videos of it too, where they'll just morph into the next thing in the cycle. Candida, yeast, fungus, mold. But there's 19 of those. 19. So fractal. Yeah, but our bodies will heal everything just when we give it a chance to. Oh, what else is out there? Hey, Tyson. Man, Tyson, we got some stories. Debbie, just gonna have to bring Jennifer on for some of just so many stories. Oh yeah, Flat Earth Warriors. Man, we were doing it. But then here comes the next thing, and then people got to pick sides. Like, I'm over here. Do you believe what I believe? And that whole game, that's just out the door now. For me, I played that one long enough. I saw Uber. Well, it said breaking news, right? I was like, all right. It said the headline: Uber and Lyft requiring drivers become employees. I was like, okay. And then they're suggesting it, or that you should be an employee, all right? But employee is it works for the federal government. That's the only employer. So I don't know. I have to run that one through the things a couple times, but just that. It's just always that test of if anybody's at home. Just germ theory. It's your terrain. Your inner terrain is the sounding board, testing ground. So whatever, do something to it. That there's bacteria just reacting the only way they can. There's more bacteria than you have cells. They're everywhere, right? Are you gonna be afraid of bacteria? Is that what a grand designer would, create? But we see how many people give that away. But our job now is to just take responsibility for directing the show for them, so that they're not doing stupid shit, I guess. Just back to that LGBT thing, and that was an issue. They were bringing it out in the colleges like 20 years ago. all little, trying to get people fired up. But the psychology professor, man, he's just like no nonsense. He's like Asperger's, and he just flapped it out there, man. 1,200 references and like this, not that big of a textbook, but that was it. Male, comma, female. Shut up. These are the sex differences. The sexes go about things different ways, every way you can imagine. And females are more detail oriented, males, right? He's got every study you can imagine, like. So whatever, it's just it was funny. Oh, but like, I noticed he figured out like what to teach kids to do mathematics. Like he's like it's all wrong, and it was just so obvious. And he was going around talking, but then he reached the board of the schools, like not the local one, like the big one, like the textbook publishers, and he said, "Damn, they were just like, didn't matter what you said to them. You show them anything, right? Because that's like the bookends. Because on that top end, they're making sure, checking, and but whatever you show them, they're not gonna. It's not a logic game. It's a hard game. It's a chess for the word chest. So they have their own, like even the all the common core, but it was like core. It's so stupid that your heart would come out and say something. Stand up. Stand up. So yeah, we already lost right there. You're just asking for directions from this thing you're dreaming up in your head that you're manifesting out there. I can't read my own writing on that one. Just scribble these things down as I get them. Like hygiene products, that's aside from the food, all the stuff and the chemicals in that make you sick. You don't really need any of it. I mean, I just use soap. You could brush your teeth with anything. I use activated charcoal and something coconut just to get them whiter, with coffee and the tobacco and stuff. But put the whole urine thing. I had some falling outs with people about that. But right? What's the? It's not breaking the rule. It's not hurting you. Then why do you care so much about it? Or if you think it works for you, then why do you care that someone else thinks that with you too, right? That's the child playing those games. Who's with me? They're trying to figure out their world and they build their teams, But there's time to put away those childish things. But the chemicals and some of that stuff, the perfume, and it gets you quick. I've had people get in the car, man, like 3 guys all cloned up, man. It's like cold, can't roll down the window. I'm just like trying to hold my breath. And you save a lot of money. Deodorant, just make it out of coconut, make anything out of coconut oil. Baking soda, essential oils. So, I mean, there's a lady at the naturopath, she was like the world's leading expert in essential oils, like huge field, all their uses, all this stuff. This one's used for that. And I was like, man, that's a lot of effort to learn all of that. And, does it kind of work? Maybe, sort of, sometimes. And, homeopathy is another one like that. It's like, nature's very creative. Everything fits in the pattern, but we know that what we actually, if we expect it to work, there's your 50%, and if you think it's bad, there's the other 50%. All that other stuff is kind of like details. I mean, yeah, the molecules and all that fits. So certain plants do, they match up with your lungs. Like eucalyptus will clear you. If you just trace the mathematics to it, and signs and shapes and aromas, and yeah. So I was like, but they're coming at it like, I got my product here, and then this, you should use this, but just you could use all octaves of what that is, if you want to really get at it. Decay, decomposition. I think we covered that. Viewers. But it's hard, thinking back, because I had a friend, she got the old BC diagnosis, and I was just waking up, and I didn't know for sure to tell her because I was scared, it's all fear-based stuff. And but my friends were like looking at me like, "You gonna help her?" And I didn't really know then, for sure, like 100%. And so she progressed down that road, and so we've all lost some angels. Guy I grew up with, same thing. Well, tumor, but it was blocking his windpipe. Yeah, got to get that one taken out. And then I got him, talked to him in his ear. I knew more then. I had already lifted the other one, and I told him he's fired up. And the next thing I know, he come over to the cancer hospital up here and got scared shitless and did the treatments, and Eddie, he's another one, So, we're sad about them leaving, but the cornerstone is the first laid stone. So, whatever happens on one end is replaced at the other end, right? 40,000 every day. So that's just one. I don't know, but at this is time we know for sure about this stuff, like for sure. Craig Chris, I could miss some of the questions. Other dry fast. Yeah, I haven't even talked about the fasting. Yeah, just take it to that level. I mean, if you could do it, it just depends on how where your state of stuff you have in you. You don't want to just jump in on that on day one, but yeah, you be hungry, but that's not hungry. That's just your bacteria, like getting ready for your usual fare. They're amping up so that you don't kill yourself. Stomach acids, my stomach was rumbling, and you're hungry, and you eat, and it goes away. It's a pretty good test. But absolute fast. Yeah, no water. Chris Manley went, 12 days, nothing. Water. So yeah, we don't really need water. The water is just to wash the sins away. Salty foods, and the cells are being replaced because they're breaking down and being replaced. But a lot of that process, that autophagy, and it slows down when you clean up, because it's immortal, right? The spirit. There's no reason that the body even ages. But we know why the stuff we do in here ages it, and then our beliefs age it. This whole time I've been just waking up, and I'm just like, I don't know, like my bones are like vibrating. It's just like a deep sleep. So maybe it's getting down and getting into those layers where I was just working and pushing my body, and I was kind of curious and interested when it happened, man. Like, my finger was starting to like snap into place, like I was losing control, and that was sort of interesting. I don't know if I mentioned, Hajira. Yeah, the liar. So why would food, is that a lie? Mom is, our real mother and father. They're checking on the children, all of us. And there's no other way that could be. So they'd be coming around. But see, Alvaro's funny though. Like, if you haven't done, you need to wake up. To what? See, he's playing that game, like, seeing if someone will agree with him, right? It's a good test. It was a Samana, I think, just came up with the perfect quote. It was like, if someone comes at you with a criticism or something, that's your best test. Because that's a sign that you're a 6. Because what's ever coming out of their mouth is that part of that process here. The 3's chasing the shadows. So yeah. Well, now who are we supposed to tell who to wake up at this? We told everyone that we'll wake up to wake up. Now we got to wake ourselves up to that other idea. 9 to the 6 to the 3. That's undeniable. That's high fidelity. There's no arguments in that connection. That cycle. That's 7-8-3 bell. Dun, 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 cowbell. You just jump in on that one anywhere you want. But that's what you do. You just be ringing that bell. Maker told this story in Florida spring break. Steve and I, he was down there. Steve was walking, and we were just walking, and I don't know, right? He had his hands in the pie. He just tripped, just fell down, boom, straight. I was like, "Why didn't you break your fall?" And he said, "I couldn't get my hands out of my pockets." I was like, "Oh yeah, I can see how that could happen." You know, he might have had a little assistance at that point, but 7th grade arts, eyes. 7th grade art teacher, she looked at me and she's like, "You're gonna melt hearts with those eyes one day." And of course, that was way before. I was just looking at her like, "What does that even mean?" But you know, just go back there and pick that up. And these just the cycles, personality cycles. So I tried to understand that just a little bit better. Like you know, for her, like, well, these people are not people. They're zombies. But it's the personality structure codes that come down as a pattern, as a cluster. And, you know, it's for that. They're for their purpose. It's not about us being right and figuring stuff out. Now they gotta wake up. You know, they're playing it perfectly as they had, as only they could. So that for our evolution growth is to step up and take responsibility for the 7s and 8s that have to step in to play the show. So yeah, it's just endless stories. You can pick this up. So it's kind of fun in that way. I mean, nothing's not disconnected from anyone. Jimmy Logos. Love, love, love. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much for me today. And I was getting just sit around and talk on the video, and I was like, well, yeah, it's all, you know, I earned it. But it's a beautiful thing, you know. Finally find that key out of the insane asylum. I mean, you knew it had to be there, like somewhere. Where could it be? You know, and you're looking all out there across the horizon everywhere, and you know, it was there all along, right there, with you the whole time. You just had to keep asking questions. Just keep asking questions, and then, you know, after time, it's like time for questions is over. It's you know, the great reattuning. Let's just call it that. You know, this has been done so many times. It's like, I was just looking back, and I was like, that'd have been a good year. What was going on there? All the same stuff was going on. It's just like this big, you know, called a system. It's an organism. And that's what it's working on, is that communication fidelity, the Xerox, the right copy, you know, for that right copyright. So it's a good place to be. I don't even know what. I mean, Sunday, I got at least 7 more of these in me, I think. And so we'll just take it from there. Just take that basic message, one other person, see if that stirs them. You know, because everyone, we have our memory, right? Like, I was just like, yeah, so I was up in there, and then this all happened, and then so you still have that memory to play this game, because otherwise you wouldn't have a direct purpose for this game. You know, so take some self-accountability time, some self-responsibility. We manufactured some shit out there, man. Yeah, so guard your mind. It's in all the other recent talks about, you know, you can rewrite your time, your history. I mean, that's just the way it works. So go back up into your chapters. You have everything you need there. Find out whatever it is that you're afraid of, that you resent, or something happened you thought it was bad, and just rewrite that. Just clean those up, and that's part of this whole process. It's not like, bing. It's everybody's gonna be sitting around scared to hope shit, waterfall's coming. All this other stuff is just child scaring itself. We've done that enough. We know that one. So there's a new act in town. All right, glad to be on this journey with everyone. One big love. This is heart bomb. Instead of carpet bombs, it's heart bomb the whole set. See if Davos will pick that up. All right, everybody. See you in the next one.